Good evening, everyone. Welcome, commissioners. And welcome to the public to our July public hearing and public meeting for the Virgin Town Planning Commission. I called the meeting to order at 5:32 on this July 14th. And Mr. Peterson, can you please lead us in the pledge? Sure.
Please repeat with me the Pledge of Allegiance to the United States of America.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Kent. And we'll move on to item B, which is a declaration of conflicts of interest or any ex parte contacts on any item on the agenda. We'll start with Kent.
No.
Lee? Nope. Darlene? No. Claudia?
No.
No. Does anyone have any additions or amendments that they have not made to the May and June meeting minutes, or do they need more time to look at them?
I'm good. I've looked through them.
I'm going to abstain. Because May and June,
You were here. I was the one not here.
No,
You're not ready?
I'm voting.
You're ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
okay, you guys go ahead.
All right. I'll take a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes for May 13th and June 9th.
And Kent,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
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 I abstain.
And you're abstain. All right, moving on to item D, open forum. This is 3 minutes. We currently not have anyone in our audience, so we'll move on to commissioner comments. And this time I'm going to start with Claudia.
I don't have any comments other than Riker. I'll just keep thanking you. I really appreciated all the details that we had. So thanks.
And I think we would concur on that. And then I wanted to give a shout out to Stacy Croft, Darcy Spenlove, and everybody else who helped with the 4th of July festivities. They were lovely. I got to help with the pet parade and it was awesome.
Oh,
And they had an awesome silent auction and pickleball and all kinds of stuff. And if you're unable to make it this year, I hope you try to make it next year because it was a wonderful, lovely event. In fact, one of the participants in the pet parade has a more recent resident, and he was just so proud that he could live in a little community where this kind of stuff happens.
Oh, that's cool.
I thought that was really cool. Lee.
Yes. Oh, no, thank you.
Kent.
I have a question for anybody as my comment. I've been talked to by a few people and concerned myself about the condition of the park lawns. Easy answer is that it's too hot, but it's always too hot this time of year. So I wonder what's going on. You guys know anything? Heard anything?
Mhm. Mm-mm.
Okay.
We need to check in with the team.
Oh, I don't, they look like they're dry areas, but I don't believe they are. I
Around.
believe that either something was put on at the wrong time or nothing was put on. I'm just not sure. I haven't heard anything and I haven't seen it before this year.
It's 'tis the season.
Could you put your speaker by your
So who would be the person that
Is
can?
that Randy?
So I'm struggling currently with my own lawn at home, and everybody in my neighborhood is struggling with their lawns. So I think it's just a natural heat thing, but we'll definitely bring that up with our
If
parks
you
guy.
walk across the street from the town hall, the old town hall,
Yeah.
the Spend Love lawn, it's as green as ever.
Well, they get to have extra irrigation, I think, and get to flood it. So I don't think we have as much time.
But I
over
think we
there.
are on irrigation.
Yeah,
for-
but I think it's smaller.
It's smaller, so
And
they
so you
have
get a-
more.
If you see how they get flood theirs,
Yeah.
we don't get that opportunity like that.
You don't have that many shares.
Well, we do, but ours is like on a sprinkling system, so it doesn't
Oh.
just flood.
Oh,
It's a different.
so I'm assuming you're talking the park on the other side of SR9?
So you're more concerned about like the Heritage Town
I'm talking
Square,
about this one
Oh, okay.
Town Park.
right here. Yeah. It's the same as Pocketville.
Yeah. So all of them. I know he's been working really hard on all of the lawns. It's just, I know it's hot. I know he hasn't put any like pesticides or stuff on it or like been spraying crazy stuff when he shouldn't be. He knows well about lawns, so we'll bring it up to him for sure and let him know. But
Thank you.
All right. And with that, we'll move on, take a motion to, in a moment. We only have one item for a public hearing this evening, and it is the same item as we had last month because the improper shuttle ordinance was posted. So this month, there's nothing changed from the discussion from last month, and we have the correct document posted. Okay?
I would assume we should probably close the public
That's what we're
meeting
going
and open the
but I
public
make
hearing
those sta-
anyway.
Yeah, we're going to do that, but I just wanted to give that overview prior
Okay,
to doing it. So
sorry.
now I'll take a motion to close the public meeting.
I move we close the public meeting and open the public hearing.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
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 And I just want to confirm, Crystal, there were no new written communications that we should look at.
no, there was nothing submitted.
Okay, all right. And so we have no new information other than anything that might have been expressed at our last public hearing. And there is no one currently in our audience, so I will take a motion.
I move we close the public hearing and open the public meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And we have 5 items for for discussion and possible motion and vote. And the first one is the sign, and I believe you received the sign application, which Shyla, I know you had a hand in that, and Riker had a hand in that, so thank you for that. Has everyone had a chance to examine that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And have you had a chance to read Riker's analysis?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Does any commissioner have any points needing clarification?
I do.
Kent?
One thing I was wondering about was, for the sign, it said that 1 hour after sunset, is it?
I believe that's the language in the ordinance.
That the sign is to be turned off,
Mhm,
unless the business is still open.
mhm.
So is there a definition for open?
I do not believe the ordinance specifies that.
Yeah, I just wonder if what I'd like to see is signs stay on, for the most part, but that they have, automatic dimmers after the 1 hour.
Like a lower light setting.
Yeah, that's what I would like to see happen, but
And that's something we can definitely look at. That wouldn't be a condition that we could impose upon this particular sign application. But as we've discussed with the commission chair and some other commissioners, and as the findings in this particular application point out, we'll need to go through the ordinance itself and analyze some of the areas in that ordinance where there's potential conflicts and make some adjustments. And that could be one of the items for discussion at that point. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I'd like to, yeah, I think that we should have some discussions on it because I'm not always sure why they need to be on all night long. So even at a dimmer light. So I'd like to have some conversations around that.
Yes, that can definitely be a point of discussion that
Okay.
the commission can decide how they want to approach that as a body and then
Okay.
So just
decide how they want to include
to
that.
clarify for everyone in this particular application,
Mhm.
they do not have anyone on premise after a certain hour. Is that considered open or closed?
So again, where the ordinance does not specify and it is vague as far as for the sign ordinance
But is that
specifically.
the rule of it would be the lighting ordinance, I believe, that sets those
Or the,
times.
the lighting ordinance, correct?
Shouldn't that be also in the purview of any language we have governing other things for that development?
So that may be something that we'd want to consider as far as it applies to commercial uses as a whole. Something that the commission could include as a condition of approval is that the definition of open be verified and that the applicant.
I think the
comply with-
town and the
requirements
applicant
associated
should
with that.
come to a consensus on what that is. And I do like Kent's idea because isn't our limit, is it 10 or 11? I think it's 11. And then when it's closed, but see, a motel, which I guess this is the closest thing to it, or a group of short-term rentals like this, I know they were grandfathered in, is different than a restaurant.
Correct. And that's where the code is silent and doesn't specify what hours of operation might be for this
Yeah.
So
particular
could
use.
that be
So,
added?
so right. So this is something that
think it's a
we could look at for future uses. However, as far as it applies to this sign application, there's not much that can be placed as far as a condition goes,
Yeah.
other than the definition be verified and that the applicant comply with
Got it.
those standards as they currently sit in the code.
So the
Um,
way I read yours is that they needed to comply with our current lighting standards.
Correct.
Correct. Okay. Thank you.
Can a lighting adjustment be added as a conditional use to this permit?
I believe that there is a condition that an automatic timer be
Okay.
included. That was my recommendation. If you see at the end of the staff report, I have a couple of conditions that I recommend the commission consider. One of those is that the sign illumination shall be controlled by an automatic timer or smart controller programmed to turn off illumination no later than 1 hour after sunset or close of business, whichever is later, and to remain off until no earlier than 1 hour prior to sunrise in conformance with VMC 5010 F5.
And do you have any other comments, Kent?
I think that for me personally, who was involved with the lighting ordinance, it's I think interesting how, and you might find it very normal that as we proceed forward with a new ordinance, there's all kinds of these kinds of adjustments and discussions. And I think that's really good. And I hope that there's some kind of a system for that to adjust and the town take a part in what they're feeling coming from developers and stuff like that for permits or whatever, to be flexible and try to continue to effect what we as a commission and as a town wanted to try and create. So I think that has to be kind of a moving target, I'm sure, and we need to kind of try and move with that to stay on target. Thanks.
The condition written in, under your recommendation is just an on-off. And since it has the capacity for anyone to check in at any time, that would mean 24 hours. It would never be off.
Again, where the ordinance is silent on what is actually defined as open or closed for this particular use, we can't be, we're limited in the conditions that we can apply there.
Mhm.
What? Can I jump in here?
But we,
Go ahead. Your turn.
we did add a similar condition to the CUP, if I recall. I could be wrong. We're unplugged.
And that
Oh.
could be a condition placed upon the permit is just that it comply with the requirements of the CUP. So because the sign is accessory to the conditional use permit, you could include as a condition just that the CUP requirements be consulted with the application of this.
So this
sign.
was a permitted use when they received their.
We don't know anything, as far as I know, about the CUP for the rib. So
Okay, I misunderstood.
she wasn't talking about
I
that
had
stuff.
thought that that's what it
Unplugged,
was.
I said.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
I
I
see.
don't believe the RIV has a CUP. That was a permitted use
Okay.
Oh,
when they
Okay.
applied for it, to my understanding,
Could
but I
we-
wasn't on the commission at that time.
could we say that the sign should be turned off when the regular closing hours that are required for other uses happen?
I don't know that we could impose such a condition.
Okay.
One thing,
Could there be a conversation with the
l-
applicant?
that is something that could happen is the applicant could agree to do that.
Because I do see an effort to comply here
Mhm.
with
Yeah,
the
so-
standard.
And see too, why they'd want to be visible if
Mhm.
people could be coming in at any hour, but
That,
Ma-
that was a comment I was going to
Correct.
touch on is
I think,
if we're going to just shut down an hour after sunset.
In the winter, that would be
i-
early
In the winter, that could be 6 o'clock.
or 5.
well, or
And-
whatever is later when they close. So
I like
I think-
actually, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So I think having the conversation with the applicant would be the smart thing to do. I don't know if there's anything in our code that says if you run a motel-like scenario, but you don't have anybody there to monitor it, they get 24-hour access. I don't know if there's anything in codes, anything like that. So I feel like we're kind of all over the place. So I feel like this is a conversation with the applicant.
And Ken's suggestion, I think, is the best. Is just, does that control have the capacity to have an automatic
Dimmer.
dimmer?
Because I think we can create what we've wanted to create with dimming of lights
Mm.
and proper hooding and lumens. I think that through the night, it can be very aesthetic to be able to drive through a village where there are downlit, not downlit, but dimmed lighting, so people can see, oh, that's the motel. We have a reservation. We're late. It's midnight.
Well, sure. Yeah, absolutely. But I think we just need to address it and have those conversations.
And then we can codify it
Yeah.
afterwards.
And then it would be smart to do that.
So with this particular application, we can have that conversation
Conversation.
with the applicant.
I think so.
It will be up to the applicant to determine if they would like to accept compliance with such a requirement.
Mhm.
And then, yeah, we couldn't simply impose it upon them.
no,
They would
no.
have to agree.
No, I think it's.
No more?
No more.
Lee Ballard, do you have any comments?
just a question for Riker. Who would be the person to verify the definition of open,
Of what?
or closed?
I would verify it in the code,
Okay.
yes.
With the lettering of the RIV, there is a requirement for light above a horizontal plane. How is that made sure that that is met with this particular type of sign.
As far as light above a horizontal plane, because
That's clear in the ordinance.
yes, part of what we're looking at here is that the light itself, and this is the conflict in the code, is internal. Therefore, it is not unshielded, so to speak. And
There are specific standards, but they're just a simple, I don't know how much would project. That's an easy test.
yeah, and so we
But
could,
a little ledge on top would solve that issue and bring it into
It-
compliance.
and that's a condition that you could include where
If
we're
it's
requiring.
needed, I don't know if it will
correct,
be
yes.
needed.
And so what could be included as a condition is just verification that light does not
I-
extend beyond the horizontal plane
Yeah,
and that appropriate
That's-
adjustments be made if necessary.
the main point of dark sky.
Mhm.
And, okay. Lee, do you have any other comments?
I do not.
Claudia?
No, thanks.
I do. And I know, I've talked to, first, is lighting on both sides? I would assume yes,
believe
but I
so.
don't, I'm not
Yeah,
clear.
I believe it's both sides, like, identical on both
Okay,
sides.
and then I wondered about, because of its positioning, I know to the east, there's a fence that would keep any light spillage from that dwelling.
Mhm.
But where the fire was recently, I don't believe there's fencing there between, and I could be wrong, maybe I just didn't see it. Or if there's fencing, and I kind of don't think it will be a problem. I just want to make sure that we don't have another resident who's looking at a glowing light all night.
Mhm.
You know, and I don't anticipate that being a problem, but there's just two people we have to check, and one I'm sure is fine. Okay. And then I see that you did address NIT in your recommendations. And that's good because I was going to bring that up. And then there'll be a conversation about the third bullet. Okay, so here's the thing. It is clear in the sign ordinance that we do not allow LEDs. Tell me how that is okay.
Can you,
I thought we
me-
allowed it.
Did we allow LEDs in the sign ordinance?
Yeah, I think we
I thought it was just the color temperature that.
yeah, we had to change,
Okay.
that
limit
was
the,
my
color.
understanding.
LED string lights is what we got rid of.
right,
Okay.
there was something about that.
Thank you for that. All right. And then I'm not against this sign, but 50.04 C clearly states that where there is conflict between this ordinance and any other part of the code, the more stringent applies. That is not in the severability clause. This document went before our town attorney before it was passed. I need I would like him to look at this again. And then, because we need that input, if it's not adequate, as we move to making our language in both ordinance the same.
So as far as my analysis goes, I believe it's in that same area, it states that all lighting must comply, or that the lighting of signs has to comply with the lighting ordinance, and therefore brings it under the umbrella of that ordinance. It's not in
It said code, any other part of the code, and that refers to the entire
correct, the
code.
same section. And that's a question that we can ask the attorney.
And I spoke to the author of that ordinance, and that is an interpretation of that. So I would like that clarified,
Okay.
because this is what not because of this particular sign, but because we need to know going forward what we do to make the process clear for the applicant and the commission and anybody.
Mhm.
And I think the language between the two ordinances, I don't know about how the other commissioners feel, should really be consistent, you know, on these shared topics. And this seems to be the only topic it would be shared on, pretty much, you know. Those are my comments.
Okay.
And my idea is, I'm all for approving this with that condition that I just explained, that we get some input from our town attorney on that.
If the commission intends to base their decision off of that input from the town attorney, my advice would be to not make a decision tonight. If the town attorney's comments are to inform future language changes, then I would encourage the commission to make a decision tonight.
What if we had the caveat in, the only change that would be needed is the words "the Riv" would have to be backlit like the signs at Zion. If the town attorney says the stricter applies, that's the only change that would need to happen to the sign.
Potentially. We would have to hash that out with the attorney. I'm not sure what the extent of the changes would be. It may not be as simple as changing that particular lighting, because our code does not define what that is. And so
Well, but we do have standards for that.
for
For
backlit,
yes, in the ordinance.
correct. We have standards for it, but we do not define what it is.
In that case, isn't the standard definition of backlit acceptable?
Yes, but that is effectively internally lit. That's the essential conflict that we're
No,
that we're pointing
backlit
out.
maybe have an inside light source, but it doesn't come out in chunks. It's pinholes or a cutout around a letter. And you see this in Springdale quite often, and it doesn't cause that upward light. Whereas the solid, and I know it says it's translucent, but I don't know how translucent. The white bison is translucent, but that's very bright. And they're at the max at 3,000. And there's no shielding to go up. And so,
So it sounds like we need to wait and run it past the attorney.
I would suggest waiting.
and he probably, but I don't want to have the applicant wait either. But I do want to clarify those things so we can move forward intentionally and also treat this, you know, the way the code was meant to be interpreted by those who wrote it. You know, 'cause we did these chapters, we sent to Heath Snow to review before they were passed by town council. I don't know if he remembers that, but he's so busy, but
So my suggestion would be to loop in the town attorney and have him give some input on that.
and then
That-
there was just one thing that I found inconsistent in your report, and it said there's a existing support structure, but I didn't see one.
That may be an inconsistency on my
Yeah.
part, because the support structures included as
of the
part
application of the sign,
Correct,
correct?
yes.
Okay, that's what I
Yeah,
thought.
it's not currently existing. He intends to construct it with the
Yeah,
sign.
See, I just wanted to check
Mhm.
because I drove
I did-
by because I go, I want to see it.
Yeah.
And then my question was, shouldn't that be part of the application? Because what if they have to change something? Then they put all this work into
Yeah,
something
no,
they have
it
to
is
change.
part of the sign permit application.
So we will then move this vote till next, do we table this
Yeah,
till next month?
my recommendation would be that you table it.
I move then, shall I make a motion?
Mhm.
I move that we table the sign permit for the Riv until the next meeting. At which point we will have gotten some advice from the attorney.
second?
I'll second it.
Kent? How do you vote on this?
Aye.
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 All right. Thank you for those questions and thank you for your patience, Riker. And once again, it looks like a nice sign. Since I just want to make sure that we didn't work so hard on establishing something and then we're not following through on it. And this will also help us to revise
Perfect.
and bring the two ordinances into alignment. Okay? And you now have 17 things on your list. All right. Let's move on to item 2, an ordinance amending the Virgin Municipal Code to remove shuttle stops as a conditional use from the commercial zone and the highway resort zone and providing for related matters. Is there any further discussion on this? I personally have none. Kent?
No.
I'm just going to be really happy when this is no longer on our agenda.
I second.
Do you have any other questions on this? Okay, do I have a motion on this item?
I move we approve, or we recommend approval of the ordinance removing shuttle stop as a conditional use from commercial and highway resort zones.
And I will second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I don't need a voice vote on that, do I, Riker? I don't think so. Usually I do a voice vote on ordinances, though, so I think I will next time.
Hmm.
All right, let's move on to item 3, an ordinance adopting and enacting a new chapter 46 in Title 16 of the Virgin Municipal Code, establishing a review process for new or unlisted business uses as required by the Utah Code 102507, providing for classification requests, administrative review, legislative action and appeals, and making related amendments. And Riker, I didn't have your recommendation on this. Our town planner has recommended an approval on this one. Let me just double check. If there were any conditions, I do not recall any. No. We discussed this at our last work meeting. Does anyone have any different comments they would like to make on this? Lee?
Nope.
Kent? I will take a motion. Okay, approve.
Move to move to the town council adopting Thank you. Chapter 46. Is that where we're at?
No, no. You're on.
Title 16.
Yes.
Virgin Municipal Code.
Yeah,
Yes,
chapter
that's the right
46. Okay.
I'll second.
Kent?
Yes.
Lee?
Aye.
Darlene? Aye. Claudia?
Aye.
Okay. Item number 4, an ordinance amending and restating the section 16-2-12-18 of the Virgin Municipal Code to establish procedures for preliminary and final site plan review, providing for technical utility review by the Joint Utility Commission, JUC, delegating approval authority to the town manager, and providing for an orderly, safe, and compliant development review process. And our staff recommends approval of this. And are there any new comments on this item from any member of the commission?
Yes, I would just like to thank you for getting that done. It seems like such an important thing that we have never had. And so I am very much in favor of it.
Yeah, anything that makes things clear
Yes.
and you can see the pattern is great. So thank you.
And I appreciate the whole sending it to the town attorney. The financial assurance is important too. So thank you.
All right, so I will take a motion to recommend approval of this.
I move that we recommend approval of this
Number 4.
ordinance
Number 4.
amending 16 to 18 of the code to establish procedures for preliminary and final site plan review and et cetera.
And I need a second.
Second?
Claudia,
Aye.
Darlene, I, Lee,
Aye.
Kent.
Aye.
All right. Our last item for this evening is a motion on the good neighbor overlay. Lee, did you want to, do
I
you have a
s-
motion for that
some
one?
comments to make.
Okay.
Just because we talked about this at our work meeting, but it might be good to get on the record that at our last regular meeting in June, we voted to table indefinitely the GNO. However, there are new ordinances being drafted right now that will make any further work on the GNO unnecessary and could even conflict with it. We are also, of course, aware that the groundwater study authorized many years ago a long time ago, is nearing completion. And once it's released, it will include recommendations that might conflict with our current density limits and with the smaller lot sizes and two-family dwellings proposed in the GNO. Therefore, it only makes sense to take the draft GNO off the table indefinitely. So if there's no other comment,
I have no comment.
I would move to recommend denial of the GNO, the good neighbor overlay.
I can second that.
Okay.
And Kent,
Aye.
Claudia,
Aye.
Darlene, I, Lee.
Aye.
All right. If there are no other, do you have any updates for us you need to tell us at this time?
No current updates. We've kind of gone
And
through.
we're still going ahead with no work meeting next week. So
Oh,
commissioners, there will not be a work meeting next week because we have approved or recommended for denial everything on our plate
Woohoo.
that we have access to at this time.
Correct. Yep.
But August will be a full plate. All right. Okay. So with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion
make
to
the mo-
adjourn?
And I second
second.
it.
Claudia had it first.
Yeah.
All in favor.
Aye.
Aye.
Have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you.
You too.
Turn off your mics.